Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Problematic Podcast, the world's greatest podcast. I am your friendly neighborhood co-host, Rita, with my friendly neighborhood co-host, Whitney. Whitney.
Hi.
How's your life?
It's lifing.
Okay. All right.
We're glad to be here, glad
praise
to be
God.
here.
Praise
How
God.
are you? Oh, you blinded me. God, that ring. God.
Stop this.
It just keeps hitting the light.
I'm gonna start taking it off.
Diamond of it all.
I can't stand you. Life is good. I got no complaints. We survived a week, and yeah, we're here for another one, and hopefully this one goes great. And yeah,
it's Pride.
It is
Happy Pride, friend.
Thank you, and happy Pride, everyone listening to all of the LGBTQ crowd and their
queers.
Allies. Happy Pride. We're going to get into some Pride stuff over this podcast because y'all been making me happy and pissing me off at the same time. But before we get into that, we are going to get into what Whitney has been listening to.
I always feel like it's like a round robin. Like you could get something or you could not.
Maybe not.
I've been catching up on my Tina Turner because I'm just so sad that she's not with us. I've been watching a lot of Beyonce covers of her performances and things like that. And someone made an excellent point that Beyonce has not worn pants since her collaboration with Tina.
Stop it.
And I was like, I need to put these dots together. Because you remember she used to be like,
you try and get the Tina legs.
Yeah, but she already has them.
She does.
She got legs to her armpits, that woman.
I can't, you
see it. Long legs mile high. And she's gonna show them to us. And the legs just be legging.
They be legging, doing the leg things. They understood the assignment and came to get it done.
Shout out to legs. You know what? Shout out to Black women, because I used to get stopped by Black women who would talk about my quote big pretty legs. Now, I'm just thinking I'm just a curvy
big pretty
girl.
Legs.
I was like, wait a minute. Like, I wish I had big pretty legs like that. I was like, legs. Ain't nobody in my generation talk about no damn legs. These
niggas don't want legs. They do, but they do.
No. My husband, because he's elderly, loves legs.
You know what?
Like legs? We talk about legs?
That might be the episode title, right?
No, not legs.
Big pretty legs. I love it. I love it.
What is this?
Just click and listen. Now you're here.
What's happening to the Problematic Podcast? It's untoward. What's happening?
It is getting spicy over there. Yes.
How about you? What have you been listening to?
So I've also been listening to a lot of Tina. I never thought that this moment would happen. Like I knew that Tina wouldn't be here forever, but I was at a Black Pride conference in DC last weekend, and the DJ understood the assignment, not for the whole party, but he played Proud Mary in a club full of Black queers. And let me tell you something. It will stick with me as long as I live. It was a moment.
That sounds like a sacred.
I was cooling. I was good. I was like, okay, this is nice. I'm not really a club person anymore. I'm a little elderly now, or so I thought. By the time that song was done, my roots were sweated out. My back it was a whole thing. But in addition to that, I've been listening to a lot of classic Toni Braxton. I go through my 90s R&B moods, and
Toni's very summer.
She is. As the mood changes, you kind of want to give yourself some Toni Braxton. So
I get it.
I've been listening to the ballads and the upbeat thing. He wasn't man enough, and then you go to Breathe Again, and then you go to Making Me High, and then as you're winding down, Unbreak My Heart. But the thing about Toni Braxton is, I was a fan of Toni Braxton before I realized I was a big Toni Braxton fan. I have a lot of Toni Braxton music, and it's like she does give you the upbeat songs like Heat and He Wasn't Man Enough, and then she gives you like the moody music if you lost your man or your man don't come home and his ass should have been home last night. He gives you a little bit of everything. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to. Shout out to Toni Braxton.
It's very summer.
And we're still doing rest in peace, Tina Turner,
Oh,
because
grief.
as a little black girl, she meant a
Mm-hmm.
lot to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think sometimes we not take for granted, but we don't like to think about our legends not being here anymore. And like she was so much larger than life. And then you have Beyonce, and this is no shade to Beyonce, who I feel
No
like
shade.
really
No
have
shade.
emulated her on stage performances so much.
Mm-hmm.
After I've said this before Tina passed, I
Mm-hmm.
said Beyonce does the big hair to honor Diana Ross,
Diana.
and she
Diana.
does the performances to honor Tina Turner. And
Mm-hmm.
I think looking back and seeing all of these, her paying the homage,
Mm-hmm. Giving
we
flowers
all
while she could smell them.
exactly, we all really see that. So yeah, rest in peace to Tina. And we're gonna get into some of my yays and nays
Oh shoot.
for Pride. You ready?
Are these the pride rules?
No, they're not rules.
Oh,
Should
okay.
there be rules? Damn it, I should make some Pride
So
rules.
I won't be able to talk that entire time.
Oh no, no, you can. No, you
Mm-mm.
absolutely no.
Not,
See,
no, that's not my community.
so here's the thing with allyship is um a friend of mine from undergrad, a young lady named Brigitte, said
Shout out to Brigitte.
that allyship is always aspiring. Like you can't just call yourself an ally, do the work one time, and then you're an
Mm-hmm.
ally.
Mm-hmm.
You always have to build in
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's important, and I get why you've taken your stance, but I think it's important that allies do speak in this space. And I know some people are afraid because they're like, I don't want to say the wrong thing and I don't want to step on the wrong toes. But
Especially not
it
during Pride, because y'all got them rainbow heels on. Y'all be cute.
yeah, but in order for us to expand and to grow and really understand other communities, it requires conversation. And I think we're with cancel culture becoming a thing, we're tipping into that. If I say nothing, I'm safe. But we
Oh,
also
that's not, that's
I
not.
know, no, I know that's not you. I
Oh,
know that's not
okay.
you. But
Okay.
I'm saying this for the people out there who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
There is safety in true allyship,
Mm-hmm.
meaning
Mm-hmm.
you can ask a question and
Mm-hmm.
make a faux pas if you are aspiring to truly be the ally. And I think we need to kind of get back to that because I think cancel culture is kind of taken away. You get what I'm saying? Like
I do.
feel
I get exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
I feel like cancel culture is making people very, very afraid to even have a conversation. People be like, not my community, not my business. And not saying that's you. That's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be clear. That's not Whitney, people. She is
Oh,
an
she's so
ally's
kind.
ally.
And the funny thing was, I don't call myself an ally. I wait
I
for
know you
someone else from
don't.
those communities to call me an
I
ally
know
because
you
I'm
don't.
like, you got to do the
I
work. You got
I'm
to prove
saying it
that.
though. Whitney is an ally, but
She's very kind.
I want people in general who truly want to identify as allies and who want to make sure they're not inadvertently harming a community to feel safe enough to have conversations. I don't have any rules for Pride other than don't be a dick. And for the people,
Please.
for the LGBTQ community, I want all my brothers and sisters and others to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's my big
Mm-hmm.
huge thing during Pride because we know like the world, and not to be all gloom and doom, we know that the world is every day becoming a scarier place. But I
Mm-hmm.
want you guys to go out and celebrate and dance and throw your
Please.
glitter and twirl and have your conversations and enjoy your
I want
brunches.
I want to hear fans click everywhere I go.
Look, there is something so sexy and magical about the sound of a big ass fan opening. And I have a big
That
ass fan
snap.
thanks to you. We went to a drag show together, and I still have that fan, and I gotta pull it out tomorrow because I'm be hot as hell at the amusement
Wow, you
park.
made me feel like I am a real ally.
Girl, you are. You took me to a drag show, and it was
It was
awesome.
my
A
first drag
celebrity drag
show.
show.
Stop it. It was my
Good
first
times.
drag show. That was a good time. It was really, really freeing. But like if I can just interject just like a little bit before
Go
you
for
dive
it.
in. Um, there was a time where I was not an ally. There was a time that I was not safe. And it took a lot of self-introspection. The work that I've been doing for Black people, I've always been doing for Black people, like since high school. And someone had to point out to me that the work that you're doing similarly for Black folk, just having the right to exist, is the same work that you need, not that I needed to do, but that they themselves were doing at the time, for queer people to exist.
Mhm.
And, there's a lot of nuance there that we could talk about. There's a lot of like issues that we could talk about, specifically around the white gays. That's another conversation for another day. Because someone on the Twitters
Oh
said
boy.
they told the blacks with the lowercase b, the blacks, that Juneteenth is not a thing and that we have February and we need to sit down. And I said,
Oh,
Juneteenth predates Pride by a century,
a
100
whole
years,
one
actually
whole century.
103 years. But you wouldn't even have Pride if it wasn't for people like Marsha P. Johnson.
Exactly. So let's talk about it. Let's talk
So
about it.
the blacks gave you the
One,
things.
once again, black women coming to save everybody.
Golly, we were like this. We're like the older sisters of humanity. It's like God left us downstairs to watch humanity. Am I lying? Am
You're
I
not wrong.
lying?
You are not wrong. That is a word right there. That is a word. No, you came to preach today on the Problematic
That's
Podcast.
what it feels like.
No,
Everybody,
it
anyone who
does.
has an older sibling or is an older sibling understands what I
Every
just said.
little black girl who's an older sibling understands.
Oh, you
It's
think I'm doing
true.
this to Ems?
No, no, it's the reality.
I
It's
know,
the
but
reality
she's
of her
not gonna be a
existence.
third. I don't want a third parent. No, like you're a child. Like go be a
You
kid.
and you can create the safe space in your
Mm-hmm.
home for that.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing you and knowing, how you are, it's it's a personality trait. And
It
a
is a
lot of the
personality trait.
leadership skills that I developed came from just chasing around my knucklehead brother and keeping him
Golly,
alive in the absence of my parents' presence.
you can't eat that. Stop.
It's
But
the
that's black
truth.
women.
No, that's black women.
That's black
So
women.
I mean, you don't want to rob us of our
I'm
gifts because
tweeting it.
that's where the magic is made.
I'm tweeting it.
You
Black women are
should.
the.
No, you should. But to get back to Pride
Yes.
really
Let's
quickly,
talk about pride.
I just want to say, to the people out here complaining about Pride celebrations and what it looks like, let me say this: there are people who are like, we'd celebrate if it were more family friendly. You clearly haven't been to Pride in a few years because it is very family friendly.
Very.
I went last year, and one of the things that warmed my heart was the number of kids in middle school and high school out celebrating Pride with their friends and just having a good time, not being troublesome or,
Mhm.
not being the loud,
Enjoying
obnoxious
themselves.
just enjoying themselves. So I say this to say there is a very small segment of the community that may come out and do some things that you find offensive, may be dressed scantily clad and may have their goods out. Um, I say if you notice that in this community, then you got to notice it everywhere. It doesn't stop you
Mhm.
from going anywhere else. It doesn't stop you from going to beaches or to Miami
Football
or
games.
anywhere else where there are people who may
Have
have slightly more revealing clothing. Just a
Hooters.
hot day in downtown
Just
Philly.
a hot day.
I've seen some things. So stop trying to label the one segment of the community
Mm-hmm.
for the whole.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side of that, I love, love, love the way Pride is growing. I am so proud of just the community as a whole and how
Mm-hmm.
we are, despite all of this anti-LGBTQIA or LGBTQA, as I'm calling it now. Thank you, TikTok. Um, I'm, we've had to shrink for
Mm.
so long. And even during
Mm.
Pride, people have accused the community of being loud and obnoxious and
Mm.
too much glitter, too much of something. Like we're so extra and not realizing that even in those spaces for such a long time, we have been downplaying and
Mm-hmm.
not let us be.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get to see that it is family friendly and it
Mm-hmm.
is, just community oriented and they are doing
Affirming.
exactly. Not just for the LGBTQA, but for everybody. This is a human rights movement, not a gay rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had to get that out. Happy Pride to everybody. Please go out and celebrate safely and responsibly. Look out
Please.
for yourselves and each other and just have a great time this month.
Mm-hmm.
Before we allow you to start dragging,
It's a very short list.
it's okay. I've got 2 points that I need to hit. One is your president,
Oh, please don't talk
Joseph.
about Robinette.
I'm talking about Robinette.
I don't want to talk about Robinette. I saw what happened. Damn it.
So I need to criticize Robinette and then criticize the people criticizing Robinette. So bear with me.
He does fall a lot. Okay,
He does.
He just falls a lot. He be falling. I'm like, come on, golly, these bones are dust. Can you please? Well, wait, hold on. Everybody stop. Because if he gets hurt,
right,
who's gonna be the president?
Homegirl. My ex-wife, Kamala Harris.
Y'all tripped him, and y'all need to stop that.
Y'all, thank you, Whitney. Let's talk about it. So, as you all may know, over the weekend, Joseph Robinette, Biden the second, attended a Air Force graduation, and at that graduation, while on stage, he tripped and fell. Now, for anybody who's been a U.S. citizen for more than 2 weeks, you are more than aware that Joe Biden trips a lot, falls a lot. He falls up the steps, he falls down the steps. He stumbles a lot. I'm going to say this in defense of Robinette. How many old people do y'all have in your lives? Because let me tell you something. Old people fall.
They do.
A lot more than they should. It's like old people and toddlers can be standing still and just fall. So, and Joe Biden,
make them sit down.
That's why you make them sit down. Old people and toddlers. But also, not to sound ageist, but also Joe Biden moves around and walks around a lot more than the average
than your average, yeah.
So his likelihood of falling is going to exponentially increase. Also, let me say
bikes and stuff.
Joe Biden hopped up off that ground when they helped him up. He sprung up real fast and he pointed at the ground like, this dirty motherfucker right here tripped me. And girl, I howled because I'm like,
it's quintessentially Joe.
There was a podium blocking whatever tripped him. But it was very Joe Biden. And I was like, he pointed at the ground like everybody does. When you trip and you turn around and look down, there's nothing there. And you're like, so they say he did trip over a sandbag.
Jesus.
And I believe that.
Someone go get fired.
And here's why I believe that. I'm 35. When I trip over something, I can collect myself. But there's a split second where it's scary and I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to catch myself before I fall. That split second does not exist with people over 65. And that's no shade to people over 65, but it's just the ability to react and recover is completely different. Sometimes it's just safer to fall and then mitigate the damage after. Fall.
Just fall. Don't try to stop. Just fall.
Then you end up breaking your wrist and your hip.
Right.
So I would like to congratulate Robinette on how gracefully he fell. And shout out to Secret Service for helping him out. Because he just be falling. But we ain't heard about him breaking nothing yet.
No, we have not heard it. Thank you, Jesus. Like he fell on a bike. He fell going up the damn stairs, going on a plane. Someone's going to do a montage of Joseph Robinette Biden falling. And I'm so angry at y'all. Please don't do this.
They're going to do it. It's already done. We just haven't seen it yet. It's there.
They're going to keep collecting moments because he's going to keep falling.
And somebody needs to do it till we fall down.
No!
Yes. We fall down.
This has been the Problematic Podcast.
Don't quit on me yet, Whitney. Don't quit on me
yet. I started putting my things away. We fall down. God damn it.
Oh boy. I'm sorry. I had to get that out because I'm like, okay, y'all are going to make it about his mental ability. And I've said the things that I've said.
There's a lot of smart people who fall.
Joe Biden has had an illustrious career. He was in Senate longer than God. He's done all of these things. He's been a vice president.
Father.
He was a him, Thomas Jefferson, Anthony Hamilton. Oh my God.
Not Anthony Hamilton. This conversation.
Oh my God. If you're listening, have a coffee for me. Alexander Hamilton. He was right there. I do think he's a little on the older side to be running for re-election, but every time this man does something that is completely within the norm of his age range, we are not going to say
I'm not
y'all
surprised.
grandmas fall all the time, and we not putting her out to
And
pasture.
if you visited her, you would know that. Now, why don't you call her?
You
You,
dead beats.
you reprobates. Call your
It's
grandmother.
way too high. Oh, this is also my annual reminder. I
Oh,
usually do
yes.
this on the social media.
Hmm.
Check on your seniors and make sure their window units are in their windows and that their air conditioning compressors have been serviced.
Clean
I
those
don't
filters.
clean those filters and y'all go
Hmm.
over there and do it for your grandparents and make sure they
Hmm.
got water, not like 2 bottles of water, but cases upon cases of
Yes.
water. Tis the season. I don't
Refill up their Brita for them and bring them a little ice cream. You know they like ice cream. A
and
little butter
produce
pecan.
and produce. Oh, people love produce.
Go ahead. They
You
be in the
bring
produce market hardcore as we go. And Emmy's, they just be talking to Emmy. They're just so sweet and small, like bent over on their little carts. It's so
Yes, you
cute.
you bring a senior some
Hmm.
cucumbers and a watermelon, and you have made their week.
Whole
So,
week. They go call Gladys and talk about it. They are going to call Gladys and talk about it. You know Gladys.
yeah,
They
everybody know
all got a
Gladys.
friend named Gladys.
Everybody got a friend named. I can't. Lord Jesus, why are we like this? How do we
This
get here?
I have laughed more in this one conversation that I have all day.
Well, we're gonna move on. My last point is a quick one. Moving on from Robinette. Leave the Stallion the fuck alone. Whether you love her or hate her, whether you believe Tori did it or her best friend did it, whether you believe she deserves the world or she deserves nothing. This is a black woman who was the victim of a violent act. Whether you believe a gentleman did it or someone else did it is irrelevant. This was a young lady who was indeed shot. That's no longer up for debate.
But
She's
what?
dating. She's dating someone new now, a gentleman, a soccer
Oh,
player,
that's why y'all bother. Oh, okay.
Romelu Lukaku, a really incredible. Very, I know Americans don't really do the soccer thing, but I'm trying to think of a sports
LeBron? Not
not
LeBron.
not not LeBron, but I
Steph?
get yes, there we go. There we
Okay.
go. That Steph is look at you doing the sports. I'm
I
so
know.
proud of you.
I know, guys. Look at me. I'm just the people, the players, the games.
I say all of that to say she was in a relationship with one guy. She's in a relationship with the other, and y'all are not going to shame her for breaking up with somebody, especially with you people living in a habitual states of situationships
Well,
and fucking
well,
chaos and staying
well,
in relationships because you're
well,
homeless and all of these
well,
other things that give you no
well.
space to talk about this young lady in her 20s
Talk,
living her life.
preach.
Leave Megan alone. This is a handsome, successful young gentleman. She broke up with another handsome, successful young gentleman. Maybe there will
That's
be
her
8
business.
more handsome, successful young
It's
gentlemen.
her
When
business.
George Clooney was doing it, we celebrated. Everybody shut up and leave her alone.
Taylor Swift does it on a weekly basis.
Listen, ain't no men left. Taylor Swift has
Just
knocked them all down.
clearing the board.
And I
And you know what?
stand.
That's her business.
That
That's
is
her
her.
business.
Listen, she's a young lady of a certain age, and as long as she's being safe, I celebrate and salute her.
Okay. Okay. But I'm still mad at you about the
We
Ice
can still be
Spice
we can still be
thing.
bad.
But we're gonna let you. I don't understand y'all. Leave that girl alone. Y'all just don't like her.
Y'all
And I
don't.
need y'all just to be honest about that. Y'all just
Yes.
don't like her. Just be honest. Thank
Y'all
you.
hate to see not everybody. I don't want nobody emailing me or texting our problematic letter hotline talking about we don't hate black women.
Y'all do.
There is something about this young lady being educated, being
Hmm.
successful, being
Fine as
talented,
hell.
and being listen
Fine as hell.
from top to fucking bottom, from
Do
her
you
hair
see
follicles
her?
down to her toenails. She is
She
just
dated that young man for it was like several years.
yes, yes.
Dated for 10 minutes. Lori, that's another one y'all don't like, Lori Harvey, because she's fine. And she
Listen,
don't feel like talking to y'all. She's fine. She's wealthy. She's doing what she wants.
not man bashing, but I do feel like a lot of men are going to have to deal with the fact that girls can play the game, and I think they realize that they have more options and they might be
Yeah.
better at it.
And
That does not
they hate this idea that they have to be likable.
right,
That they have to be
right.
likable now because like I work, I have my own education, I can pay for my own stuff.
So now you have to have a personality.
You have to have a personality that someone wants to actually be around.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then and the actual nice guys, not the nice guys that complain online and say, "Oh, the nice girl finished."
Those are
Fuck
called
you. I married a
incels.
nice guy. Okay.
You
Okay.
did. I met him.
He's very nice. He's a
He
very
is.
nice guy.
He gave me a hard time, and I still think he's
You
a
know,
nice guy.
and I've gotten on him about that a bunch of times. I hope you know when we
I
got in the
don't.
car.
I don't need you to. I mean, I know that you will, but
You see my face in those conversations. I'm like, we're tweaking. You
Earl
know, you
gives
start
me a
doing the tight lip thing.
Earl gives me a hard time. But to be fair, I give Earl a hard time, so it's all good.
It's funny. It's mutual. It's funny. He has the
It
same
is.
relationship with my siblings, so it's like, oh, it's sweet.
I get it. But yeah, leave her alone
Leave her
and
alone.
let people be who
Let
they
her
are.
go.
Are you ready?
I only have one group.
That's perfect.
All you dusty knuckle dragon people I have two groups. All you dusty knuckle dragon people who are complaining about Target having Pride merchandise.
Ugh.
Let me explain something to you. Gay people have been gaying as long as people have been peopling. Okay?
Bridge.
I know what you think your Bible says. I know what you think your religion teaches. I promise you it doesn't. Jesus does not, for those who are Christian, Jesus does not give us leeway to hate people.
Ever.
Period. That whole love your neighbor thing, there was no caveat.
None.
There was no word in between that.
Nope.
And while, there are some people like to cherry pick the Bible, they like to treat it like a buffet, and they miss the entire point of said Bible. Anyone who goes and gets offended by seeing a rainbow needs to get a grip. Okay? These are the same people who get upset at Black History Month. These are the same people who get upset at any type of observation that does not include them. This is the same pouty, nasty, I'm throwing a temper tantrum fit because I'm not being represented. It's the same folks. It's the same people. It's tired. It's old. It's lazy. I want to buy Pride merchandise. I actually came on this call with that question. I wear Pride merchandise because, first of all, I've loved rainbows ever since I was a child, and Rainbow Bright was like my favorite thing. Shout out to Rainbow Bright. And strawberry shortcake.
Throwback.
No, right? Care Bears, all that. Me, quintessentially me, right there. So yeah, y'all need to get over yourselves. A t-shirt is not going to make your child gay. Talking to people who are gay is not going to make your child gay. In fact, if you are concerned about items making your child gay, you need to go check in with yourself. Make sure you're okay.
Right.
Because, and if let me get into it. Sorry, I slammed the phone.
It's over.
I slammed the phone. Gay people have not had the representation that straight people have had in media, in books, in magazines, in movies, in TV shows. We are literally just getting here. How y'all doing? Just getting here, okay? And if that bothers you, you need to check in, okay? Because gay people have been gay people in all their lives. If all of that media didn't turn them straight,
I promise you.
And RuPaul's Drag Race is going to do it.
Let me tell y'all something, and I don't mean to step on your
You're
toes
not.
here, but
No,
I
this
need
is like double dutch.
I need people to know this. If there were anything in the community that could ensure that me and my LGBTQ friends could make people gay, do you understand that we'd be out here like Magneto just trying to convert everyone?
Listen.
But we cannot. We can't. And you ought to thank your lucky stars that we can't.
Not your lucky stars.
Because if we, I promise you,
it's a gay ray. It's like a gay ray gun, and the light comes out as a rainbow.
And there's no fairy dust. I've looked for it. I can't find it. I can't manufacture it. So please relax. And half y'all we don't want in the community. We are full. We don't need any of you extra ashy, angry straights. We don't need that. Keep it. No thanks.
Stay in the gray, y'all. Stay in the gray. Let the rainbows have their fun, okay? Stay right in the gray, right where you belong.
Please.
Second thing, to Target. You think that bending over backwards to people who are expressing hatred to an entire community is really the thing to do? You're going to
Yeah.
hide all the Pride merchandise in the back of the store, as opposed to what are you going to do with your LGBTQ staff?
What? Okay,
Are you
you
going to
gonna
put
hide
them in the
them?
back of the store because they have to witness that? They have to
Right.
experience that. And unlike a t-shirt, these people have feelings. And what are you protecting them from? Okay? I know we're rainbow washing. I know that's a thing. I don't expect you to be like real allies, but if you're going to pretend to be an ally, like go hard, make the pride section bigger,
Please.
have rainbow cannons when people walk into the
Yes.
store. Have
Blast people in the chest with glitter
play
guns.
Elton John on like 500. Go for it. Do that shit. Have the people who like feel like it, the people who feel like it put on drag. Just have a ballroom situation in that giant front aisle
Please.
between the registers and the merchandise. You know
This
that
is the
big
voguing
aisle.
section. Yes.
Listen, if I had the coordination, no, I wouldn't. I still wouldn't do it. Still wouldn't do it because that's not my people. But I'm watching and I'm falling out because of fabulousness. I saw a video of a woman who walked in. Um, I think it was drag. Sorry, my words, I'm mixing them up, but you get the point. Fabulous person walks in to an event and literally takes off wigs, like three wigs,
Yes.
and all the glitter shoots up.
Yes.
When I tell you I fell out,
Energy.
I screamed,
Energy.
screamed. That's the type of energy. And pride is about freedom.
It
Pride
is.
is about people being free to express themselves. Let them express themselves. Target, y'all need to get it together. Walmart is outdoing y'all, and that's embarrassing to say.
That is.
That's embarrassing to say because Walmart said, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all.
Anybody's welcome here. You can wear real clothes, pajama clothes. You can do your hair. You can not do your hair. You can smell bad. You can not smell bad. Just come on in and shop with us. We serve
So
them all.
Target, y'all need to do better. I will be purchasing some merchandise simply to support those queer artists. But Target, y'all need to do better. And I'm done.
Thank you. Wow. My favorite segment of this show is always the problematic people of the week because
Why?
I love you have a talent, and I've said this before, you have a talent for cursing people the fuck out without all of the expletives. And I was not gifted that talent. I curse like a sailor. The day I started cursing in college and it just never stopped. It's a problem. I'm working on it, but not really. But you really have a gift.
You're very
And
kind, friend.
I look forward to how that gift grows because as you grow and as your career just continues
Stop.
to
Stop.
exponentially, it's like the universe, it's ever expanding and
You're
always
embarrassing me.
surging forward. I love that you have the skill set and the temperament to convert your rage into something very beautiful. And I can't say that about everybody. So
And you're so kind.
I try. I need to celebrate you and your talents because, that's what friends do. But also I admire that. So
Thank you, friend.
yeah, because my rage is more so like, do you want to fight? Because we can fight. That's
I
that's my
feel
rage.
you. There, I get there. I
Yeah,
just don't do it in front of anybody.
God
I do it in
bless
front of
you.
y'all. The group chat. It's the what the.
We are going to take a quick commercial break and then we are going to come back with our problematic letter. And you are going to be so happy. I've solved the problem with heterosexual dating. You are going to
Oh,
love it.
please help.
We'll see you guys back here in just a second. We always love to hear from you at the Problematic Podcast. So if you have a problematic question or story, feel free to email us at theproblematicpod@gmail.com, or now you can text us at 267-225-4648. Again, that's 267-225-4648. Standard messaging rates apply. We love to hear from you. Now let's get into today's problematic letters. All right. So we don't need a name for this letter because
Okay.
she provided a name, but let me give a quick glimpse. We send out messages and solicit letters every week.
Mm-hmm.
However, I ran into this young lady on Twitter and I asked her to share one of her experiences because she's chronicling her online dating experience. And it
Oh,
has been the most ghetto shit I've ever seen.
oh,
So I'll just start with the letter. Here we go.
I'm nervous.
My name is Jasmine, and I recently got into online dating at 32 years old. My first mistake was that I started talking to the first man I matched with. We texted and FaceTime for a few days. He had a good job, his own place to stay, and seemed interested. My next mistake was believing that all of these things meant something. After
Oh,
talking for about a month, I asked him directly if he was interested in dating or something serious, and he said he would be open to that. So I asked when would he like to go out on a date. The energy immediately changed. Suddenly, texts got slower, calls weren't always answered, and eventually we just stopped talking. I know this happens a lot with online dating, but what's the point if no one wants to actually date? Was I too aggressive in asking about what he wanted? Go.
what is wrong with y'all? Are y'all okay out there?
No, no, but I have a theory.
Let me hear your theory because I'm baffled.
Before we get into giving the problematic advice that we give, I just sincerely have a theory, and it all revolves around economics. Hear me out. I'm about to get into my Ben Stein bag.
Okay.
If you just take a poll of what's going on with social media now with
Mm-hmm.
people under the age of 40, it's
Mm-hmm.
the rent is too high.
The rent is
Eggs
too
are
high.
too high. Gas is too high.
Everything is
Living
high.
is too high. I can go to work, pay my rent, but will I be able to go out and celebrate my friend's birthday? Everyone, if you pay attention, is complaining about their economic situation. But I think it's interesting that when it comes to dating, people aren't as transparent. They would rather shame. So these same people are complaining about, damn, rent is high. Damn, I might have to get a roommate. Will turn around and say, these bitches and these men don't deserve
Well,
$200 dates. All of a sudden, people get defensive when it comes to dating. When I think the reality is, I think a bunch of people who are arguing this $200 date discourse, and I'm talking men and women, this is not targeting men. I
mm-hmm.
think everybody is what they're really admitting in this discourse and arguing is that they simply cannot afford to date in this
Mm-hmm.
economy. And that's why they want to argue about $200 dates. That's
Mm-hmm.
why women want to get defensive and call men broke for not being able to supplement the lifestyle that they want to live, that they ultimately can't afford
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And that's why men get upset because they can't actually afford to date the women that they find appealing and attractive because those standards don't meet their economic
Mm-hmm.
place of where they are now. And instead of just fucking
Why don't
admitting
we just
that,
say that? Why don't we just say
because
that?
everybody will admit gas is too high, rent is too high, food is too high. You see it all the time. People say if you go outside, it costs $300.
It
And
does.
then on top of that $300, you got somebody who you want to date, but it costs an additional $200. Now, the $200 debate thing annoys me because that's actually, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money for some people, but it's around the standard average. And I hate that number because it's like a $15 appetizer, a $35 entree, and two mixed drinks plus tip is a $200 date between two
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot of money. And it's not, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money because it's a ton when you don't have it. It might as
It's
well
a
be
ton,
a
yeah.
million. But that is becoming the standard and the average. One
Mm-hmm.
appetizer, one reasonably priced entree, two cocktails, and a tip is a $200
Yeah.
date easy.
Easy. Yeah.
But instead of just saying that's expensive, like the rent and the gas and the everything
And
else,
life.
and that I can't afford that,
Uh-huh.
you'd rather shame the people who desire it or who can. I
Yeah.
really feel like this
Yeah.
is all coming down to
Yeah.
people's personal economics. And I bet when I was talking to this young lady, Jasmine, when I was reaching out and hoping she didn't think I was a weirdo, um, I really feel like a lot of that is what it's coming down to. I could be wrong. I'm not dating
You're
anymore,
not.
but I think all of this anger and vitriol between especially the heterosexuals, but not just
Mm-hmm.
the heterosexuals, I really feel like that's what it's coming down to. People are just crying out and saying, "Hey, what I want from dating, I can't afford." And now you're getting this culture
Mm-hmm.
change to kind of fit people's pockets, and that's fine, but I we need to be a little bit more honest about it
We
because
gotta
it's
be
like
tell the truth, yeah.
now people want to be in situationships. Why? They can't actually afford relationships. Now people want to do pre-dates. Why? Because they actually can't afford to date. Now people want to Netflix and chill or movies at home. Why? Because they can't afford to do movies outside. Because like everything else, It's expensive.
It's
Your
expensive.
economic situation doesn't make you a bad person.
It doesn't make you a bad person
And
at all.
someone else's economic situation or standards for dating doesn't make them a bad person. But
No,
y'all would rather fight.
of course, than admit the hard thing, which is that it's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
That makes sense.
Like everything else in this world, it's too expensive. And
You
I've
solved it.
seen the price of dating go up. I'm saying this as a married person. My wife and I still go out on dates. But I see, the average date night for us might run us $300, and we are not doing the extra I need to
Mm-hmm.
impress you things. We are just
Mm-hmm.
trying to go to dinner, see a show, go
Mm-hmm.
see a concert at a venue that also has food and drinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are operating outside of that pocket, we got to create a space where everybody can say that, because it's clearly happening to everybody.
Everybody. Everybody.
Everybody. Go ahead.
But you're asking for people to be mature. That's a mature thing to say.
Yes, you're right.
That's a mature conversation to have. It's a mature thing to say, we're just starting to date. This particular thing is out of my price range, but how about we go get some ice cream and take a walk around the park?
Right.
Or how about we do a coffee date? We'll meet up, right before you go to work, and we'll just have coffee together. How about, like, I'm trying to think of things that are out, but like if you guys are closer and you've been dating for a while, how about if I make you breakfast? You come by this morning, I'll make you breakfast. Or there's so many other creative things that you can do. Like, one of our favorite dates is we cook for each other. He picks out a movie, or I'll pick out a movie. We dim the lights, we have our little food, we light our little candles. It's a date. I try to put on a little dress. It's just a little dress.
Y'all cute.
But we have to be economical because we have a family, and think life is expensive, and those people, little ones, expensive. So I get it. Like, I get that, but people are immature, and rather, like, look at some of these conversations. Like, you can't even tell people what you want, and you can't even be vulnerable in a person that you're romantically interested in, because your own pride is getting in the way, your own immaturity is getting in the way. So I get your point. I think it's an excellent point. I think you should tweet that.
I think
get the book deal.
I really feel like
get the book deal.
People can't afford to date. People can't afford to do a lot of things right now. Mm-hmm. And like you said, the maturity part doesn't allow people to say, because one thing I noticed about men and women, regardless of their financial situation, nobody stops dating. Mm-mm. Nobody stops trying to have sex with people. Mm-mm. Nobody does that. So you're going to keep operating in this space, but I just wish that the space was a little more honest. Now,
you're asking for a lot.
I am, damn. Now back to Jasmine. Shout
out to Jasmine.
I'm not saying that this gentleman did not have it, but the fact that something a little more concrete scared him off. Mm-hmm. Y'all have been talking, y'all have been FaceTiming, so this isn't a catfish situation. But the idea of him having to maybe plan a date and take you somewhere and spend some money might have been beyond what he was willing to do. Mm-hmm. I think the more interesting question that she asked was, what is the point of going on dating apps if nobody wants to date? And to that, I say, baby, I ain't got no answers for you. I don't know. I don't know.
No answer for you.
But she's not the first person who has said this. Mm-hmm. Lots of people are, I don't know, looking for text buddies and people to talk to, but not actually looking to date. And then maybe if we can get some simple non-attached sex out of it, then that's great too. Mm-hmm. But I don't think online dating is actually catering to the crowd of people who want to go on dates.
Yeah, this is not online dating per se. This is just like, I feel like talking to somebody. Let me just open this and swipe left or swipe right.
Where are your friends?
Right. Well,
where are your friends?
That's another conversation.
I guess for another day.
That's another one.
But Jasmine, if you're listening, and I hope you are, after this creepy lady from the internet space demanded that you share your story.
I promise you she's not creepy.
I'm not, but I do feel that you're going to encounter this a lot. You're going to continue to encounter this a lot, because while you may have signed up for that app, because you're open to dating, and
Mm-hmm.
people in the app may have also clicked that I'm open to dating box. I think you should lower your expectation
Mm-hmm.
of what those people actually got and signed into this app for. Because some people are just entertained FaceTiming, talking, texting,
Mm-hmm.
having someone to just
Mm-hmm.
scream into the void with without screaming into the void.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of getting dressed, making a plan, and going to like a carnival or going to grab coffee or going to
Mm-hmm.
grab a movie, see a show or whatever. I don't know what the young people are doing.
What did the youngs do?
What do the youngs do? I don't know.
Because we're the olds now.
We are. I
We are
am.
middle aged.
I do want. I don't necessarily know what the youngs do as far as dates are concerned. But if that's what you're looking for, she did say her age, 32.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
you,
she's like close to our age.
yeah,
Oh,
this is not
girl,
a.
I'm
This
so
is
sorry. I thought this was like a 23-year-old. I'm like, child, you
no,
got time.
no. She's 32, and
You still have time, by the way,
you do still
at
have time.
32.
There's plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of dating opportunities out there. But I've been having this conversation with a lot of people, especially our age, who dating is
Mm-mm-mm.
different. Dating is evolving, and it's,
Mm-mm.
I guess, to a lot of people, it feels like it's devolving. Because it's not as fun and not as adventurous, and I think that's because everything outside costs a lot of money. That's my
Everything.
theory. I don't
Everything
think that
outside costs a
people
lot of
don't.
money.
I don't think that there's a sector of men, and I'm targeting men. Don't worry, my woman's
Mm-hmm.
point is coming. I don't think there's a sector of men that are like, fuck these bitches. I don't want to take them nowhere, because
Mm-mm.
the men that I know who have the financial means to go on dates and to go on trips
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that shit and love it
Oh,
and
yeah.
have a great time buying a little matching suits that are out
And they look
now with
so nice.
and they wear their little slides and they get
They
they
clean up.
put
They
the
trim
beard
that
butter
beard.
in. Yes. So
So nice.
I don't think it's this idea of people evolving to hate dating and hate relationships, even though that's what a lot of the narrative is now. That,
Mm-hmm.
oh, people just don't like each other. People just want to use each other.
That's not true.
People are getting defensive because they cannot afford to do the really cool things that they like to do, like take a very pretty young lady out. I also
Mm-hmm.
think, like I said, on the flip side, I don't think it's women all of a sudden hate men and only want to date rich men.
No.
I think women are trying to also supplement the things that they want their life to look like,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't figure out how to do it. So they're expecting whoever they're dating to compensate
Mm-hmm.
and do that for them. And the men are saying, yeah, baby, I can't afford that. So I
Mm-hmm.
gotta call you out your name. And the women are saying, well, you broke and I actually can't afford it either. So I'm gonna call you out your name.
Mm.
It's tacky.
There's just such a pride thing attached to money,
It
and we
is.
really need to reduce that. Living in a capitalistic society, we make people who feel like they're poor or broke or not necessarily people who don't have the means to do certain things. Let me correct my own language for that.
Yes.
People who don't have the means to do certain things, we make them feel like it's a characteristic flaw. Like
It's
there's
not.
something characteristically wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you for earning less. There is nothing wrong with you. If anything, there's something wrong with us. There's something
Right.
wrong with us as a society for attaching anything to the amount of money you have. Because look at these billionaires. Do you see them?
Yeah.
The refuse of society. So I don't want to hear I don't
Right.
want to hear anything about a person who can't afford, you know, the free appetizers at Applebee's or something like
Right.
that. Like I don't want to hear nothing about that. Y'all
Like
fine.
you go to work every day, you pay your bills, and you should not have to feel awful or terrible or lash out
Mm-mm.
at people because once your bills are paid and once you've taken care of your responsibilities, you may not have the money to do the things you want. And I
That's
promise
fine.
you, you're not alone.
And that's fine.
So please stop attacking each other. I wish
Stop attacking each other. Be honest and get fucking creative.
please.
Get creative. There's so many little things y'all can have a picnic at the park.
Pinterest has like
Pinterest.
those things where it's like a date for two for under $25. And I was like,
Go on
this is
Pinterest.
not possible. But let me tell you something. The things
Mm-hmm.
that these people put together with like
Mm-hmm.
$7 and a local Dollar Tree is fantastic.
I love
These
Pinterest.
people deserve more. But yeah, I'm not gonna stand on this soapbox any longer. To Jasmine, yeah, girl, expect more of the same because dating is evolving, it's changing,
De-evolving.
and they call it online dating, but they probably should call it something else because I don't think
Hmm.
the mass majority of
It's not
people
dating.
apps want to actually
Mm-mm.
date.
Mm-mm.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you have a story like Jasmine's, we want to hear it. So please don't forget to text us.
And
At,
text us back for everybody who's been talking. Like, we
please.
want to hear the updates. I really want to hear what happened after prom. Did you get your money back, lady?
I
I
don't have
want
an update for that story, but I am working on an update for the young lady who was dating the gay gentleman for the very first time.
I want
It
to
was so
hear.
I've touched base with her and she is going to get back to me with the full details. So
Yay.
I'm so excited.
I want to know.
Everybody stay tuned for that. And I hope everybody has a great week. We are out here at the Problematic Podcast.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Have a great week.